This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. To help customers get more familiar with its capabilities, Elon Musk announced that Tesla is offering a 1-month free trial of its full self-driving technology in the U.S. In addition to that, Tesla staff are now required to demonstrate the driver assistance system to new customers before they hand over the vehicle. Elon said this will slow deliveries, but it's a, quote, hard requirement that's very important. EV startup Fisker is going to need a miracle if it's going to survive. The company announced that talks with a large automaker, reportedly Nissan, about a possible tie-up have fallen through. Because of that, trading of the company's shares was suspended, and the New York Stock Exchange is looking to delist Fisker because its stock dropped to 9 cents a share before trading was stopped. And because it won't be partnering up with another automaker, Fisker says it won't be able to meet a condition of a $150 million financial commitment from an investor and says it needs to seek a waiver for that condition. Earlier this month, the Wall Street Journal reported that Fisker has hired advisors for a possible bankruptcy filing, and now that is looking more likely. That price war in China shows no signs of letting up. In fact, it's just the opposite. BYD has slashed the price of almost every car it sells, which includes 100 different models. China expert Bill Russo from the consultancy Automobility calls it round 2 of the price war. Bloomberg reports that BYD's strategy is to pull more customers out of ICE cars and into new energy vehicles, especially in rural areas where up to now most customers couldn't afford electric cars. The strategy also threatens Toyota, Volkswagen, and Nissan, which have been slow to bring EVs to the market. Even though the first quarter is not even over yet, the number of price cuts in China have almost reached half of last year's total. Bloomberg New Energy Finance says most EV makers in China are not profitable, and that could finally force those companies into mergers or bankruptcies. And last year, car sales in China topped 30 million vehicles for the first time, which was a 12% gain compared to 2022. But this year, that pace is expected to slow down. Gasgoo is forecasting that sales in China will increase 1.8% this year. We know that sales of EVs are growing at a faster rate, which means that ICE vehicles will lose market share.
When the peace and quiet of your morning commute is as comforting as your morning macchiato, that's what really matters. Bridgestone Turanza EV tires. Less noise for more quiet comfort.
Well, color me embarrassed. Here's something I feel like I should have known. Volkswagen's performance division, called Volkswagen R, has been operating as its own separate brand since 2020. And I'm learning this now because Volkswagen R is growing even more. It produced more than 35,000 vehicles last year, and in the future it will show new performance and design concepts in small series production vehicles, which will include all-electric R models, as well as performance parts and lifestyle accessories. It even built its first brand pavilion in Germany to hold events to show off some of those new vehicles for its fans and customers. And speaking of concepts, Genesis revealed several new models that, to me, show that it wants to push its identities as sporty and luxury to their extremes. Extreme luxury is shown with the Neo Loon, a large 4-passenger SUV. I think the styling is simple and elegant like the Range Rover. Hyundai calls it reductive design. The interior features cashmere in some places, plush leather seats, and a large front display screen. But when the vehicle is not moving, or possibly in autonomous mode, the front seats swivel around completely. As for extreme sporty, Genesis revealed a new trim called Magma. It showed a version of the GV60 with improved motor and battery technology that's wider and lower and has better aero and cooling. But it also showed how the Magma treatment could be applied to its other cars. Isuzu revealed an all-new, all-electric, 1-ton pickup truck concept called the D-Max that it says will launch next year in the EU, Australia, and Thailand. And that last market must have scared Toyota a little bit because it now also announced that it's coming out with an electric pickup for Thailand, where it expects to sell about 250,000 vehicles this year. Reuters reports it will be a battery electric version of the Hilux, which could be ready for sale by the end of next year. Porsche unveiled its active ride suspension earlier this year, but now the media is getting the chance to drive it in the new Panamera, and Wards reports that the results are, quote, mind-blowing. Porsche says the Panamera will lean into corners like a motorcycle. It will lean forward when accelerating and backward when braking like a helicopter, which it says makes driving more comfortable for the passengers. It automatically reduces pitch and roll so the car stays flat when cornering hard, and it does away with sway bars so that when the tire hits a bump or dip on one side of the car, it's not transferred to the other side. This took some serious engineering to develop. Porsche spent 6 years getting it ready for production. Each corner of the car can be controlled individually. The active dampers can push a wheel harder into the road or retract them into the wheel well. Each damper has an electric, high-pressure hydraulic pump to actively control compression and rebound. Instead of using cameras to scan the road ahead, it uses sensors to analyze wheel and body acceleration. So it works in all visibility and road conditions. And it's fast, running at 13 Hertz, meaning it can make up to 13 adjustments a second. Porsche says it theoretically could get rid of the springs, but that would be energy intensive, so it uses a single chamber air spring. The energy for the active ride suspension comes from a 400-volt high-voltage battery, and it's only available as an option on the plug-in hybrid versions of the Panamera. But Porsche says it's already developed a version for future electric cars. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you for tuning in.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey, and by Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering. Boost your game.
Intrepid's NeoVi Pi, allowing automotive engineers to interface, capture, and monitor vehicle data using Raspberry Pi. As a matter of fact, it's the automotive industry's first robust platform for Raspberry Pi, featuring Intrepid CAN-FD technology and Raspberry Pi Compute Module. The NeoVi Pi is designed for automotive environments, allowing use with relative power ranges and applications. In addition, the NeoVi Pi enables you to use the Raspberry Pi for compute while avoiding additional development to adapt to network environments. That makes the NeoVi Pi powerful enough to solve your vehicle network problems, yet small enough to fit in your backpack. One of many Intrepid tools used for developing zonal architecture and software-defined vehicles.